The expiration date on survival mode. What Rain-ie Armstrong taught me about softness as strategy. You know what nobody warns you about when you're running on fumes, carrying everyone's weight and doing the impossible with a smile. That survival mode has an expiration date, that one day your body just stops. Not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for so long that your bones forgot what rest feels like. Your mind forgot what peace tastes like, and your heart forgot that it's allowed to beat without armor. I had the profound honor of sitting down with Rain-ie Armstrong, a single black mother from Phoenix, Arizona, who didn't just survive storms. She became the phoenix rising from them. And let me tell you something about Rain-ie Armstrong. She's the kind of woman who makes the world better simply by refusing to let it break her. She's a business owner who built an empire from dirt. She's a recreation leader for the city of Phoenix, impacting young lives daily. She's a singer who commanded the stage at Tempe Diablo Stadium, letting her voice echo across a crowd that had no idea the battles she fought just to stand there. She's a degree holding warrior who studied through hospital vigils and courtroom chaos. And now she's a mother honoring her late son's legacy by publishing his book and continuing the power washing business he created. Rain-ie Armstrong is living, breathing proof that softness and strength aren't opposites, they're sisters. And today, I'm sharing her story with you because it's time we stop glorifying the grind and start celebrating the grace it takes to finally put the cape down. Let's start here. Rain-ie raised two sons with disabilities alone. One son battled sickle cell disease, which meant endless hospital stays, medical crises that arrived without warning, and a mother's heart that never stopped holding its breath. The other son struggled with severe behavioral issues, violence, home invasions, police calls, court ordered therapy, fights that turned their home into a war zone. And through it all, Rain-ie pleaded with the boy's father for help. Just show up. Take one to the hospital. Make sure the oldest gets to school. Spend time with them. Anything. Silence. Unanswered calls, ignored texts, a co parent who checked out while she checked in over and over and over again. Now, here's where most people would have crumbled. And honestly, that would have been valid. That would have been human. But Rainey, she enrolled in college. She studied at night after hospital shifts. She wrote papers between police reports. She showed up to class with bags under her eyes and fire in her chest. And she didn't just finish, she earned two associate degrees and a bachelor's degree in business management with a leadership focus. Let me say that again for the people in the back. While raising two disabled sons alone with zero support, Rainey Armstrong became a degree holding leader. She turned her pain into credentials. She transformed chaos into a legacy that no one can ever take from her. And that's the first thing I want you to remember about Rainey's story. Resilience isn't pretty, it's not Instagram worthy. It's studying through tears, it's choosing yourself when no one else will. It's deciding that your education, your future, your peace, they matter, even when the world keeps handing you reasons to quit. But here's where Rainey's story gets even more layered because she didn't just survive, she built. For 10 years, Rainey owned and operated a landscaping and hauling business in Phoenix. 10 years, think about that. She bootstrapped an empire from dirt, literally, while parenting through medical emergencies and family chaos. She diversified into power washing. She balanced a full time role as a recreation leader with the city of Phoenix, impacting young people's lives daily. She didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for help. She just moved. And then tragedy struck. Rainey lost her youngest son to sickle cell disease. I want to pause here because grief is not a footnote. Grief is not something you get over. Grief is a storm that reshapes your entire landscape. And Rainey, She's walking through that storm right now, honoring her son's memory by publishing the book he wrote and continuing the power washing business he created. She's turning her deepest loss into a living legacy. That's faith in action. That's what it looks like when you refuse to let death have the final word. Now, let's talk about something Rainey did that might surprise you. In the middle of all this, hospital runs, business building, single parenting, grief, she sang, she auditioned, she joined a singing group. And recently, Rainey Armstrong stood on the field at Tempe Diablo Stadium and sang the national anthem during spring training. Let that sink in. A woman who had every reason to shrink, to hide, to stay small, she took the mic and let her voice echo across a stadium. Because here's what Rainey knows that we all need to remember: your passion is not a luxury, your joy is not selfish. Your voice deserves to be heard, even when, especially when the world tries to silence you. And that brings me to the heart of why Rain-E's story matters so much. Because Rainey Armstrong embodies what it means to release the cape without losing your power. She's redefining strength, not as the ability to carry everything alone, but as the courage to keep building, keep singing, keep honoring your truth, even when the weight tries to crush you. See, what Rainey taught me is that survival mode has an expiration date. And when you hit that date, you have a choice. You can keep pushing until you break, or you can choose softness, not as weakness, but as strategy, as rebellion, as a radical act of self preservation in a world that profits from your exhaustion. Rainey chose softness. She's healing in real time. She's protecting her peace by pouring into young people at the city of Phoenix. She's turning survival into something sacred by honoring her son's legacy. She's proving that purpose doesn't have to be born from pain, but when it is, it can still be beautiful. So here's what I need you to take from Rainey Armstrong's story today: three things. Write them down, tattoo them on your heart, share them with your sister friend who's barely holding on. First, resilience through unimaginable loss is possible. Rainey raised two sons with disabilities, earned 3 degrees, built a business, and now honors her late son's legacy, all while the world kept asking her to do more with less. If you're a single mother, especially a Black single mother navigating systems that weren't built for you, Rainey sees you, and she's proof that your education, your dreams, your peace, they're not selfish, they're survival. Second, faith and action create opportunities. Rainey didn't wait for her co parent to show up. She didn't wait for the world to get easier. She moved, she built, she sang. She showed up for herself and her sons every single day. And now she's impacting youth, expanding businesses, and stepping into more singing opportunities. That's what happens when you stop waiting for permission and start walking in purpose. Third, legacy lives on boldly. After losing her youngest son, Rainey could have shut down. Instead, she's publishing his book. She's continuing his business. She's making sure his voice, his vision, his impact, they don't end with his death. That's not just grief work, that's love work, that's legacy work. And it's a reminder that greatness doesn't always look like winning. Sometimes it looks like honoring what was while still building what's next. Now let's get practical, because inspiration without action is just a good feeling that fades by tomorrow. So here's your assignment today: write. Now, I want you to list 3 impossible goals, not the safe ones, not the ones you think you can manage, the ones that scare you, the ones that feel too big, too late, too much. Maybe it's going back to school like Rainey did. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming about for 5 years. Maybe it's auditioning for something, applying for something, saying yes to something that makes your hands shake. Write them down. And then every week, take one vulnerable step toward one of those goals. Just one. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be honest. And here's the key: track your wins. Not just the big ones, the small ones, the I showed up even though I was tired ones, the I asked for help even though it felt weak ones, the I rested without guilt ones, because legacy isn't built in one grand moment. It's built in 1,000 small, brave choices. And if you're sitting here thinking, but I don't have time, I don't have support, I don't have energy, I hear you. Rainey heard you too. And she did it anyway, not because she was superhuman, but because she decided her life, her joy, her legacy, they mattered. Even in the chaos, even in the grief, even when no one was clapping. Rainey Armstrong is flying. She's singing, she's building, she's healing, she's honoring, and she's doing it all while learning to be soft in a world that taught her survival. So here's my question for you. What would your life look like if you gave yourself permission to do the same? What if you stopped apologizing for resting? What if you pursued your passion without waiting for perfect timing? What if you honored your grief while still building your future? What if you let yourself be soft and strong and sacred all at once? Because that's what Rainey Armstrong taught me, that storms don't just destroy, sometimes they birth phoenixes. And sometimes the phoenix is you. Now, I need you to do something for me. I need you to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the right time, the right support, the right circumstances. Rainey didn't have any of that. What she had was a choice, and she chose herself. She chose her sons. She chose her dreams. She chose her voice. And that choice, that one vulnerable, terrifying, beautiful choice, changed everything. So go write those three goals. Take that one step. And remember, your softness is your superpower. Your story is your strength. And your legacy is just getting started. The world is waiting for your voice. Don't make it wait any longer.